All right, so today we're diving into something pretty interesting, I think. Purity versus pollution.
Oh,
But there's a twist. We're looking at it through, a Chinese Christian perspective.
interesting.
Yeah. It all comes from this excerpt from a Chinese text. It's called Bible Life, The Bridge of Covering Purity and Pollution.
Okay.
And the author, he starts off by just describing a simple thing, right? Like buying bottled water with his son. But it's not just any water, it's Liquid Death. You know, that brand with the skull on it and all the edgy marketing.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so like right away I was kind of hooked. What about you? Did that grab your attention too?
Absolutely. It's like pure mountain spring water, but with this like aggressive imagery.
Right.
It's definitely a setup for exploring this whole purity and pollution idea.
Right. It's almost like they're trying to be pure and rebellious at the same time.
Right.
And even the author mentioned, like, the water itself, it just tastes like, well, water. But all that branding, all that marketing, it influences how you experience it, you know? It makes it feel kind of rebellious.
It really plays with our expectations. We usually think of purity as something clean, simple, almost bland. But Liquid Death is marketing purity with this dark humor. Like, being pure is suddenly cool and edgy.
Yeah. And speaking of edgy, the author's son wants to, like, trick his mom by drinking it in front of her. Thinks she'll think it's beer.
Oh, wow.
I know, right?
I love that detail. And the author connects it to this bigger idea of covering things, like hiding our flaws and imperfections. It ties into the whole Christian concept of covering ourselves from sin.
It really makes you think, like, what are the liquid death things I have in my own life? You know, those things I use to cover up my own insecurities or to project a certain image.
Right.
But the author also points out the price. $1.25 for bottled water. It feels like a statement about extremes. Pure versus polluted, saying I can, instead of submitting to something bigger than yourself.
Exactly. And that's where the author brings in this really powerful contrast from the Bible, the Garden of Eden, which represents purity and obedience to God, versus the Tower of Babel, human ambition and rebellion against God.
Right.
So could Liquid Death, with its like in-your-face branding and high price, be another symbol of that human desire to push the boundaries, assert our own will, even when it comes to something as basic as water?
That's a really good question. And the author even asks, can things like a movie about death actually bring us back to purity? Like, what does it even mean to be cleansed, to be made pure?
Yeah, that's a great point. And the author calls these attempts bridges, connecting back to that title, The Bridge of Covering Purity and Pollution.
Oh, right.
He's basically asking us to think about the bridges we build in our own lives. Are they leading us toward real purity, or are we just covering up a deeper need for inner transformation?
So ultimately, the author points us back to God as the source of true purity. He quotes this beautiful passage from the Bible, Revelation 22:1-5. It describes a heavenly city, and there's a river of the water of life flowing from God's throne.
It's such a powerful image of hope and restoration. It's the complete opposite of that liquid death imagery. It reminds us that true purification comes from our relationship with God, not from the stuff we have or by trying to hide our flaws.
So I feel like in this deep dive, we've really explored this interesting tension, right? The allure of something like liquid death, and then this deeper yearning we all have for true purity.
It's interesting how something as simple as bottled water can spark such profound reflection.
It really is.
It makes us think about those bridges we build, like you said, and what really leads us to that state of purity.
It definitely makes me wonder, what are the liquid death symbols in my life? And are they bringing me closer to God, or are they just masking something deeper? It's a question we can all ask ourselves, I think.
Definitely.
It's a good one.